Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Virgo January 2019 horoscope forecast. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Anyway, people, first thing up is as far as January goes, the sun will be in Capricorn from the 1st until the 21st. So the 5th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, there could be a strong concentration of energy, focus, and attention on children, romance, superficial interludes, even amusement, fun, enjoyment, gambling, speculation, even personal popularity, hobbies, and creative endeavors. Given this is Capricorn energy, this could be done with a lot of planning and premeditation. So if you're doing any kind of investment or anything of a speculative nature, this will be very well planned out and thought out before embarking on it. And anyway, and also these 5th house matters may be done with a lot of consistency, but yet a little bit of intransigence, very serious energy, but very professional as well, with a lot of discipline, and really very methodically and conventional, and really and also in an orthodox manner. You're probably not going to go too much outside the box in anything, as far as your fun, your amusement, and enjoyment. They're going to be things that you're not going to be doing any, tight ropes or anything like that, or riding around on a unicycle with a board on your. It's going to be things that that have been tried and true, and that are just basic, just basic things of enjoyment. So anyway, next thing up. As far as January goes, the sun will be in Aquarius from the 21st until the 31st. So the 6th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, there could be a strong concentration of energy, focus, and attention on health, work, employment, one's diet, the daily routine, an uncle, an aunt perhaps, pets, hygiene, service rendered to others, and also sadly it could be worrying as well. Now, given this is Aquarius energy, this may be done with a lot of Aquarius selflessness, consideration, humanitarianism, could be rather unorthodox, unconventional, very unpredictable as well, this energy. Also, too, it could be very erratic and sporadic, but yet very ingenious and innovative. Things that are work-related, you might be putting in a lot more originality, more focus on originality in those matters, more so than usual. And also very future-oriented. Also, this might shine the light, so to speak, on an Aquarius health-related matter. It could be something connected with the ankles or perhaps the shins. In some cases, this could be a situation with one of the eyes, depending on whether you're male or female, and it could be something that's kind of erratic and sporadic, may come and go. It could be like some kind of intermittent twitching or something. So, and especially if this is making an inconjunct aspect to your ascendant. Anyway, next thing up. There will be a new moon solar eclipse in Capricorn on January 5th. So the 5th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, well, first I want to say that as far as, for those of you that may not know, well, a solar eclipse is like a regular new moon, but it can be more powerful, more intense. It could be very monumental, and even life-altering, could have a much more sustained impact. Now, given this is Capricorn energy, well, this could be the beginning of a Capricorn romance. It could be with a Capricorn sun, moon, or ascendant, or simply one that embodies Capricorn characteristics. It could be an older, more mature, responsible person. It could be something that eventually becomes a significant other. Now, another way that this may manifest too, this could also be the start of some kind of really of an investment or thing of a speculative nature, done with a lot of Capricorn, like prudence, planning, and premeditation. It could be something very low risk. Now, well, a lot of times when you have eclipses, this could be about some cases a dominant It could be given that we're talking about a solar eclipse, it could be a dominant male, perhaps that maybe was very limiting and restricting in terms of your fun, your amusement, enjoyment, might have been causing some despondency and making you feel melancholy, maybe leaving you at this point in time. And also, too, sorry again, people. Anyway, this could be start of really, it could be the beginning in some cases of maybe a Capricorn hobby that might actually lead to something that might lead to something really important. It could lead to some chance encounter. I mean, you could be doing something as far as a Capricorn related hobby or thing of fun, amusement, and enjoyment. It could be even playing Stratego. I mean, Capricorn could be the ultimate strategist, I think. Could be doing carpentry work, woodworking as a hobby, something with cultivation or gardening even, or even hiking. Something that could be Capricorn related, and it could be something that could ultimately lead to something bigger and maybe better, something of significance in your life. I mean, these are, and also when you have eclipses, these are things that could often make you be very cognizant of things. It could be about some kind of awareness, and maybe it's about at this time where you really realize that you need to consistently really have some fun, amusement, your enjoyment in your life, and maybe even have some kind of a love life that's more consistent. Doesn't necessarily have to be regimented like that Capricorn energy, but could be something that could be where you put a lot of serious attention to. I'm really sorry, people. It's funny where I'm just talking about talking about how the sun in Aquarius and emphasizing the sixth house in a chart. It could be some kind of eye issue, and here I am rubbing my eyes. I just think my eyes are really funny, very ironic. Hey, life has a sense of humor, doesn't it? Anyway, next thing up. There will be a full moon lunar eclipse in Leo on January 21st. So the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, in some cases, this could be, well, first I want to talk about as far as a lunar eclipse goes, it's like an actual regular full moon, but it can be more, in terms of its impact, more amplified and intensified. It could be very, it really could be things that are, its effect could be more sustained. It could be life-altering. It's really, I mean, its impact can be more prodigious as opposed to an actual regular full moon. This could be something where this could be a very strong time for you at this time, Virgo, that really it could be about a very strong unveiling or revelation that maybe your pride is yourself undoing. It could be really at a point, I mean, when you talk about eclipses in astrology, again, a lot of times it could represent a departure of somebody. This could be somebody that may have been prominent in your private life. Maybe it could have been somebody that really was just very, I mean, it could be really somebody that was very domineering, very flamboyant, egotistical person that maybe which really might have been causing you some kind of limitation. Perhaps it was somebody that might have been having some feelings of entitlement that you maybe finally get tired of, and this person maybe as a result perhaps leaves your life. And also this, when you're talking about eclipses in astrology, it could be about becoming cognizant of things. This could be about a realization or being cognizant of maybe over-dramatized fears in some cases, and also becoming perhaps more cognizant of something about where maybe you, by being more magnanimous and generous toward people less fortunate than yourself, it may lead to greater things in your life. It might actually really be about more happiness and lead to something very important in your life, because remember that eclipses can be about life-altering things. And anyway, now in some cases this could also be about perhaps really realizing that, I mean, you're talking about 12th house energy and you're talking about Leo. This could be about really maybe being more, a lot more maybe gregarious or extroverted with 12th house people that are more in a limited situation than you, maybe an aunt or an uncle, perhaps anyone that might be 12th house related. It could be somebody that might be in some 12th house, profession. If you're into astrology, it could be people with the metaphysical that you may know, and these things might open up some great opportunities for you. And in some cases too, this could be about the revelation or unveiling of some kind of Leo-like mental illness. If there's other things in your natal chart that might indicate a propensity for this, or some progression, or there's some other transit or what have you, this is something that that could be, that in some isolated cases could be. Leo mental illness, as an example, could be something like a narcissistic personality disorder or some kind of grandiose delusion, something that could be like what I would consider like a Leo type mental illness. So anyway, people, hold on a moment. Sorry about that. Well, next thing up. Mercury will be in Sagittarius as far as January goes, from the 1st until the 5th, so the 4th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, this may manifest perhaps in very philosophical, blunt, veritable, very voracious conversations with people you're at home with. It could be a home or family member. And also, it could also be about thinking optimistically about who you are at the core, and really about what you're going to be able to do as far as your latter at part of life, in your that end of life period. Now, also too, this could manifest perhaps in, again, that Mercury can also be about siblings. It's not just about communications. This could be about Sagittarius siblings. They could be Sagittarius sun, moon, or ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Sagittarius-like characteristics, might figure prominently in your home life more, your family, your traditions perhaps, and even foundations. You might be doing more communicating about expanding your home life perhaps, and also talking to people you're at home with, family members, really about Sagittarius-like things such as sports, law, philosophy, religion, even publishing perhaps. And you may be talking about, again, about expanding the home life, or your home. It could be adding some kind of partition to your home at this time. So anyway, well, next thing up, Mercury will be in Capricorn as far as January goes, from the 5th until the 24th. So the 5th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, one way this may manifest perhaps is very planned, premeditative thinking over something of a speculative nature, or an investment, or some kind of gambling matter. This could also be about having serious discussions with lovers, with children, with people you share hobbies, amusement, things of enjoyment with. You may be talking about Capricorn things with 5th house people. It could be talking about matters with the government, business, politics, even dentistry, anything that could be Capricorn related. And also too, again, that Mercury can also be about siblings. So this could be about perhaps Capricorn siblings. They could be Capricorn sun, moon, or ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Capricorn-like characteristics, might figure more prominently with children. With your children, perhaps it could be sports activities. It could be things that are any kind of hobbies that you may be involved with. Perhaps it could be things of a creative nature. Also too, this could be about really talking about maybe consistently, maybe thinking about maybe doing something about your personal popularity at this time as well. And anyway, next thing up, Mercury will be in Aquarius as far as January goes, from the 24th until the 31st. So the 6th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Well, at this time, this may manifest perhaps in communication about new ideas and concepts at work, using your ingenuity to take care of maybe some matters at employment. This could also be about ingenious thinking with an aunt or an uncle. And you may be talking about some kind of unusual health issues at this time as well. And again, Mercury can also be about siblings. It's not just about communication. This could be Aquarius siblings, Aquarius sun, moon, or ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Aquarius-like characteristics that might figure prominently in your daily routine and health and service rendered, perhaps. Also, too, there might be get some kind of unpredictable or very spontaneous, unusual communication may cause some worry at this time. Remember, the sixth house can be connected with worry because the sixth house corresponds with Virgo. And also, too, another way this may manifest, Mercury is connected with breathing. And we're talking about the sixth house of health. In some cases, this could be either unusual or very sporadic and erratic breathing issues, especially if this at the point in time this makes an inconjunct aspect to your ascendant. And remember, Mercury is also connected with the hands. So at this time as well, in some cases, this could manifest in some kind of issue, maybe injuring your hand in some unusual manner, perhaps if it's getting caught like in some vending machine or some really bizarre or some kind of like roller or something. So be careful. I mean, this is something to really be careful about at this time, because Aquarius energy can be very bizarre and unusual. So anyway, people, well, the next thing up is Venus will be in Scorpio as far as January goes, from the 1st until the 5th. So the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, this may manifest in some cases of some kind of perhaps enjoyment of something Scorpio related with siblings, with neighbors and cousins. It could be even playing like a Ouija board or playing some mystery game, going to some haunted house. Anything that could be Scorpio related, even locksmithing. It could be something too where a Scorpio relationship may be something that may happen in your neighborhood if you are unattached at this time, Virgo. It could be with a Scorpio sun, moon, or ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Scorpio-like characteristics. It could be a time where you might value the enjoyment of Scorpio-like things with brothers, sisters, with neighbors. It could be doing some kind of a recycling or something else with transformation, such as rebuilding or recycling. Could be astrological, occult, supernatural things. Also, too, this could also manifest perhaps in money being spent on transformation in connection with your neighborhood. It could be just moving to maybe a different neighborhood, or maybe spending something on something connected with short journeys. Of course, that could be your car, or even rebuilding a vehicle or doing recycling in the neighborhood. And also about valuing control in your communications at this time, but also guard against perhaps the enjoyment of manipulation in third house matters, such as transportation. For example, like saying, well, I'm not going to take you to the store unless you do such and such. And this could be especially true depending on aspects. Let's say if this is making an adverse aspect to Pluto or something, that could be where this could actually be a greater propensity for this enjoyment of some kind of manipulative type behavior. So anyway, next thing up, Venus will be in Sagittarius as far as January goes, from the 7th until the 31st. So the 4th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. At this time, you might find yourself enjoying and value enthusiastically and really being exuberant, enthusiastic about getting to your, or I should say, value enthusiastically getting in touch with your roots and your ancestry at this time. This could be about the love of sport, love and enjoyment of sports and outdoors, perhaps in the latter part of life, or maybe with home and family members or people you're simply close to home with. If you're unattached at this time, Virgo, this may manifest perhaps in a Sagittarius relationship. Perhaps that might happen with someone you feel close to home with. It could be somebody that's been maybe a prominent part of your home life for some time, or or even somebody that might be in like a fourth house type profession. It could be like a Cancerian type profession. So we're talking about the fourth house, something with home remodeling, renovation, cooking, or what have you. So anyway, and you might be spending more money than usual, maybe on expanding the home as well at this time, and also the enjoyment perhaps in some kind of Sagittarius-like tradition, such as something with sports or philosophy, or something of a religious nature, something that's connected with the outdoors, and something really Sagittarius-like could be connected with archery or some kind of target practicing. So anyway, or maybe even adventure or exploration. So anyway, people. Now, hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. Next thing up, Mars will be in Aries, so the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, well, this could be about very quick, spontaneous, aggressive, and assertive action in crisis situations. It could, in some isolated cases, I mean, I know a lot of you don't want me to talk about these kind of, using that dreaded D word, but death, I mean, it is the 8th house. In some isolated cases, this could be about a volatile death. But generally, I think when you have something like this, you've got to have other things to accompany this, such as like, things in progressions in your chart, or some other transits as well. This could be very rare, but just be careful at this time, Virgo. Is like, if you're in a bad neighborhood, especially as far as gunfire goes, if there's propensity for shootings in your area, be extra careful. I'm not saying you have to go out wearing a bulletproof vest or anything, but just take extra precautions at this time. Anyway, and also this could be about really easy provocation in intimate sexual relationships, and where we might be easily provoked but not really being vindictive and holding a grudge against anybody. This could also be about very impulsive and spontaneous change. Impulsive or spontaneous energy, making some kind of major change or transformation in your life. I mean, the situations with perhaps 8th house people in general, whether it's a sexual partner, intimate relationship, maybe someone you know in the astrology, occult, supernatural, someone you know in insurance matters, or a tax examiner, might be a little bit more contentious and acrimonious, more so than usual at this time. And also, this could be about putting a lot of energy and vitality into 8th house related matters, and doing it and with a lot of very quick energy, very impatient energy at this time. So anyway, next thing up, Jupiter will be in Sagittarius still. So at this time, the 4th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, I've talked about before how Jupiter can be rather paradoxical. It could be very strongly benign and benevolent, but it could also have a tendency to enlarge and expand. In some cases, this could expand and enlarge foolhardy, reckless, over-optimistic, even tactless behavior from home family members, people you're close to home with. It could be the less dominant parent, which is often the mother. And also, too, this could be very fortuitous, perhaps, for the expansion of a home, or maybe even doing some kind of maybe publishing out of the home, or long distance traveling with home and family members. And also about expressing jocularity and joviality in the home. It really matters for the end or the latter part of life. I'm not saying that's you may or may not even be in that latter part of life now, but it could be in terms of doing what's necessary to get yourself as far as preparation for it as well. This could be a lot of hope and optimism, and as far as that goes right now. So also, it could be about a lot of luck, very fortuitous, perhaps for really exuberantly, enthusiastically, perhaps digging into your roots and your ancestry at this time, and also perhaps for the enlargement or expansion of one's home, whether it might be through a partition or even expanding your family life as well. So anyway, next thing up is Saturn will still be in Capricorn, so the the fifth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, one way this may pan out, this could be about dealing with some restrictions and limitations in your love life, your romance, maybe matters with children at this time, and even personal popularity. It could also, the way this may pan out, this could be perhaps about taking care of a debilitated or sickly lover, a child at this time, someone that maybe is factors in strongly in your fun, amusement, your enjoyment at this time. And it could be something Capricorn related, such as something with the knees, the bones, or the joints. It might be making you feel rather melancholy and despondent. This could be also about taking responsibility into gambling debts at this time. As well, you might feel there's some kind of government restriction that might be prohibiting your fun, amusement, your enjoyment at this time. And also perhaps older people might be figuring more prominently in terms of your personal popularity at this point in time as well. So those are some ways that this could perhaps pan out for you at this time. And it might be about serious interest in some kind of sports at this time related matter as well, because the fifth house can be connected with sports. So anyway, next thing up, Uranus will be in Aries still, so the eighth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, one way this may manifest perhaps is perhaps rather you might be dealing with unpredictable, volatile outbursts, perhaps from someone you might be in a sexual or intimate relationship with. It could be someone you're in some kind of shared resources scenario with. Also, Aries friendships, they could be Aries, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Aries-like characteristics might figure prominently in you making some kind of transformation, dealing with crisis, even emotional, monetary, even moral support. And also, it could also indicate, in some cases, perhaps unusual activity with credit cards, or even unanticipated, maybe some issue, maybe like a tax situation, which maybe you might get some unanticipated tax break, or it could even be more money that may have been owed. A lot of this could depend on the aspects that these are making to other points in your natal chart. Say if it's making a positive aspect to, say, your Venus or Jupiter, that could be more auspicious for getting like a tax break perhaps. But if it makes an adverse aspect to, say, Jupiter or Venus, then it could be going in the other direction. So anyway, and so the next thing I want to get at, well, Neptune will still be in Pisces, so the seventh house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Well, at this time, this could be about the dissipation and dissolving perhaps of a marriage in some cases, significant other situation, maybe your relationships in general. This could be a time where you might have difficulty in terms of the character composition of others, and open adversaries, even relationships, the grandmother, partnerships in general might be somewhat unclear and nebulous at this time. But on a positive end, this could be auspicious perhaps for public speaking on the metaphysical, which could include astrology, but you may be attracting people that are less fortunate than yourself, and maybe even people that are into drugs or alcohol. So just be careful and prudent at this time, Virgo. And also too, it's interesting that I've talked about this before, I have this placement natally, and it seems like it's this constant dissipation and dissolving of relationships for me. And on top of that, I have transit Neptune in my 11th house of friends. So you could pretty much do the math as far as that goes. There's constant dissipation, dissolving of people that had been my friends. And a lot of times when you have these kind of transits, these things like with Neptune, it's like things will happen very inexplicably in connection with the house that Neptune is in. There you'll see these disappearances, this dissipation, this dissolving of things, and you don't really, and it could be so mysterious you don't really understand a lot of times why it's even happening. So, but at the same time, on another positive, and this could be about the dissolving perhaps of some legal matter, or maybe even an open adversary. But you may also at this time, if you're unattached, Virgo, you might connect with somebody that a Neptune-like person that could be a potential or prospective significant other. It could be someone in the metaphysical, which can include astrology, a spiritual person, somebody in poetry, dancing, someone in photography or chemistry, someone that does pharmaceutical work. It could just be somebody that might be really somewhat like nondescript, somebody that you're really somewhat nebulous and unclear, that you're really having trouble gauging, but nonetheless you might still might see this person as someone that may be a potential significant other. Anyway, last but not least, Pluto will still be in Capricorn, so the 5th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Hold on again, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. Anyway, so as far as Pluto and Capricorn in the 5th house being emphasized and highlighted, well, this, I know a lot of you don't want me to say the dreaded D word, but you know I'm going to anyway, of course. Some cases this could be about the actual literal death of a child, of a lover, romantic partner at this time. This could also be about dealing with upheavals and power struggles, perhaps with children, with lovers at this time, and also guard against perhaps compulsive gambling issues at this time as well. Sometimes when this happens, this could be about where maybe where one may start gambling compulsively and get like a very strong obsession or fixation with that, and even things that are just about risk-taking in general. Now, this could also manifest in doing something Pluto-like as something that could be of a hobby or some kind of fun, amusement, or enjoyment. It could be doing something connected with astrology, the occult, supernatural, something with horror, even recycling or rebuilding. I would say even sculpting, because with sculpting you're kind of transforming things. You could be taking something out of nothing and then molding it to however you want it to be. I say this facetiously. Maybe it's like playing. Maybe one way this can manifest for people, younger people, is maybe playing the game Operation, because Pluto can be connected with surgery. But I'm actually just joking, people. As far as that goes, I'm being facetious. But anyway, yeah, this could be about really guard against becoming overly controlling or domineering in matters of the heart at this time. As well. So I mean, those are some things to look at as far as this goes. But anyway, people, I want to also get at, you might find at this time that your fun, your amusement, your enjoyment, you might feel that it might be somewhat obliterated at this time. But remember that Pluto can also be about regeneration and rebirth. So what could happen is, if something goes away that was really part of your enjoyment in your life at this time, and may be supplanted. I have Pluto in my 5th house in my natal chart, and I have to admit, I really have a hard time really actually having any kind of fun, incorporating any fun in my life. A lot of my life, even though I don't have like any, I'm not like working really that much or that consistently, still seem like I'm dominated more by, just responsibilities and things that are, that aren't always fun for me. So I kind of understand, because I have Pluto in the 5th house natally. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Virgo January 2019 horoscope forecast. Stay tuned next time, where I am going to be talking about the duality of Gemini. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.